What I'm learning from this is we need a gimmick for our Stop Wasting Your Wine brand that we release someday. We're going to have to think of some random shit to put in our wine that makes our wine special. Like my New Hampshire themed bottle can have like a pine cone in it, or a moose antler or something. I don't know.
Sure.
Or just some granite.
You put an alligator.
Granite's probably pretty harmless. Just some, you guys got alligator chunks.
Yeah.
A can of Busch Light.
They're probably like a gator tooth.
Our wine has a can of Busch Light. An open,
every
warm
Florida
can
bottle comes with. It's just, and it's duct tape to the side. It's not even in the wine. It's just Velcro to the side of it.
It's 3 years old.
Be a great theme. Like this would actually be an amazing theme for our wine company. People can't steal if they listen to it. Every wine is a different state, and there's an object in the wine bottle that represents that state. There's no impact on the flavor at all. It's just funny.
This is at least $10,000 idea right here.
At least to do it, to find all that granite to put in the bottles.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like gator teeth are pretty cheap. Like, can't you just get handfuls of them at like the local Gatorland?
Oh, they're just all over out here. Just follow an alligator in your neighborhood for 5 minutes. It'll fall out.
Yeah. Easy.
They grow them back. Aren't they one of the animals that grow back their teeth when they get pulled out?
They are.
They let you take the loose ones. They let you take them. Yeah. They just open their mouths. You just hop right in there.
We'll go ahead and try that next time in town.
Hope you enjoy my tooth.
Is that what the gator sounds like?
That's
yes.
That's a very specific gator voice.
No, that's all of them though. They
You guys playing golf? Oh, good. It's a great day for it. Have fun.
Welcome to Stop Wasting Your Wine, a wine review podcast where we waste our wine so you don't have to. On this episode, we review
a white wine from Italy.
Hey everyone, welcome back. We are so excited to be here. Aaron here, joined by Joel and Colin once again. Man, I love being around these guys. They're two of the most animated folks I know. Gentlemen, how you doing today?
What? I'm like the least animated person.
Is this because I was just personifying an alligator in our pre-recording conversations?
One of many reasons. Reasons.
Really brought it home with that.
Yeah. Okay. No, I mean, it felt like an important word because one, the alligator. Two, our episodes are now on YouTube in video. So we are going to have to work on our animated nature or, make sure we're not covering our mouths or looking away or drifting off camera because we have to pay attention to those things.
Is this right?
Wait, we're live on YouTube right now. That's what you're telling me.
Yes. We're always live. We've actually hidden the series of cameras throughout Joel's house. He's always streaming live. You can find us at stopwastingwine.com/Joel live. Check it out now.
I feel like I should have signed a release for this. Should be getting some sort of royalties. I'm assuming there's royalties because many people would want to tune in.
It was the fine print in the podcast contract. I don't know.
Okay.
Might not have read it, but it was in there.
Yeah,
you're right. That's mine.
I think our animated nature is going to be helpful in a lot of different ways. I think Joel and I are pretty animated. Colin, you're the rock of the show. You don't need to be animated outside of your animated knowledge.
That's true. I'm not very animated. I just kind of straightforward.
Outside of that moment right there, I've never seen your hands before.
Yeah,
actually, it's just
they're always by my side.
I just learned you have arms.
I don't move them when I walk. I know, it's pretty wild.
My dad had like the dumbest joke that he used to tell all the time when I went to college, and I went to college for a whole bunch of silly things, including music. I had an Italian teacher named Luis Ceruni, and my dad gets on the phone with him like, I'm a freshman. He's talking to my professors. And he goes, "Oh, Kaleli, you all must speak Italian." And my dad goes, "No, we don't speak Italian, but I'll know what you're saying if I can see your hands moving." And
Nailed it.
We just thought that was the funniest thing. He was also very, very old, and so every single class started with him saying he'd read the roll because there were 8 people in the class, and he'd read the roll every class.
Yeah.
And he'd get to Aaron Kaleli, and he'd look up and go, Kaleli, do you speak Italian? And every single week I would say, if I can see your hands. And every week it was the funniest thing he's ever heard for the first time.
That's awesome.
But with that being said, I am
responded
very animated when I'm talking. I gesticulate a lot. I knock over wine glasses all the time because this is just how I communicate.
Yeah.
Like
my mom used to say, if you tied my hands behind my back, I wouldn't be able to talk. Same vein.
I feel like you're very intentionally holding your body right now to stop.
I am. I don't know what to do. Ever since you said the thing about us being on YouTube, I'm a little inside my head right now. And
don't worry.
I wish you just wouldn't have told me.
Just let it flow. Just let it flow. The people want to see Joel in his natural habitat, no pressure.
Every show is going to be released in 2 formats. One is going to have all 3 of us talking, and one is just going to be the entire episode zoomed in on Joel's face.
Oh, good.
And it's just the whole episode, just Joel and his reactions.
That's the one that me and my mom are going to watch. And that's about it.
I'd watch that.
It's going to be good.
Oh,
be good.
Excellent. So very natural plug that if you have been waiting to see our faces while hearing our voices, check us out on YouTube. Our episodes. That is now an option for you. Not a requirement, an option. Welcome and enjoy.
So if you're driving in your car and listening to us banter along and you think to yourself, oh man, listening to these guys just isn't scratching that itch all the way. I wish I could see their dumb faces. Head on over to YouTube.
Not while driving your car. Side note, please don't watch our YouTube while driving.
Agreed.
All right, well, that's a lot of fun. So welcome back, everyone, whether you're listening to us or staring at us, either way. As Joel mentioned, top of the show, today we're drinking a white wine from Italy, which is super exciting. Joel, can you tell us a little bit more about the wine we're drinking today?
Yes. So today we are drinking the Donnachiara Empatia. This is a grape that I was not aware of, so hoping we learn a little bit about this one here. But this is actually a Fiano grape. So excited to try that one out. This is from 2022. This is from the region of Campania, the appellation of Avellino. And this has an ABV of 13%. And we picked this up from Total Wine for $26.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that information. And I'll toss ahead, this was my pick. And I had 2 reasons for this. One, honestly, I've just kind of been pushing myself to try to find something I have not heard of. And I'm so glad that you've also haven't heard of this grape. And so I did some kind of searching. I was looking for stuff that might be a little higher rated while still staying under kind of our $30 goal. And this popped up. And I also thought it was really unique. We do a lot of reds from Italy. And when I think back, a lot of our whites have either been from the States or a more specific area that's kind of known for that. And so this kind of stuck out to me. I'm like, okay, it's a white wine from Italy. I've never heard of this before. Let's check it out.
Yeah, and you actually found one that I don't think I've ever tried before. So props to you. I know I've heard of it, but I've never actually had a glass of it. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this because I don't know too much about it.
Well, fantastic. Well, since none of us know anything, which is great.
That's for sure.
We should probably learn something.
This is the only thing you will learn.
So today we are in, like Joel said, the south of Italy. We're in the region of Campania and in the appellation of Fiano Di Avellino, where it is said that the Fiano grape has been cultivated for over 2,000 years, dating back to the ancient Romans. Yeah, that's pretty wild, right? And I have a cool fun fact about that at the end, but I want to talk about the grape a little bit more before I get into that. So being in the south of Italy, Avellino has the ideal climate for a grape like Fiano, as Fiano thrives in a warmer type environment. It's one of the rare grapes that can hold its acidity in a warmer climate. As we learned before, Usually, warmer climate, you get riper grapes, and with riper grapes, you get more sugar and less acidity. So to find a high acid wine growing in a warmer climate isn't necessarily going to be as common. And the appellation of Fiano di Avellino only produces white wine, so you won't find any reds coming out of this.
So they only make white wine in the entire appellation.
Yeah, that's right. I'm pretty sure that's true, period. But for it to be from the appellation of Fiano di Avellino, it has to be white wine. And actually, it has to be slap the appellation on it. There has to be a minimum of 85% Fiano in there. There are a couple other Italian white blending grapes that you can throw in there, but you can guarantee that a bottle of Fiano from Avellino is going to have at least 85% Fiano in it.
It's 100%. So this is a pretty good example of just what Fiano brings to the table.
Absolutely. So Fiano can have a range of flavors from more citrus forward in cooler climates. You're going to see some lemon and some grapefruit, to a more stone fruit forward wine in the warmer climates like we're drinking today, which is going to be apricot and pear. Fiano is also known for having nutty flavors and notes of minerality. So you can look for some of those flavors as well. And then depending upon the style, Fiano is actually one of the few white wines that ages really well. I'm not sure what the intent of this wine was, but there are some wines coming out of Italy that you can lay down for up to 10 years. I think I saw is the maximum. I mentioned the grape was cultivated for over 2,000 years since the Roman times. And back then it was called Vitis Apiana, or vine of the bees, because the bees seem to prefer this grape to other vines. And the wine made from the Vitis Apiana grapes was called I'm going to mess this up. Apianum. Apianum. And that word is actually still permitted on the labels of the Fiano di Avellino D.O.C.G today. So you could actually see some bottles with the Apianum on the label. So that's a little bit about Fiano and Fiano di Avellino. And, I'm interested to check this one out because, like I said, I haven't really gotten into one before.
Very cool. Very cool. I mean, thanks for sharing that, Colin. And this is, man, every time we jump into something new, it's always just really exciting to kind of see the very unique nature of each individual wine and each individual region that we're learning about. So that's exciting. And thank you for teaching that. And thank me for finding this.
Which leads to my question. Why don't I know about this grape? Why... if this is the only, or I guess, maybe it's not the only grape, but they're only making white wine out of this region. Why am I just hearing about this right now?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's been around for 2,000 years, so I have no excuse.
I don't know if it's a marketing thing or an import-export thing, but Fiano out of Italy, specifically from Avellino, is widely regarded as one of the better Italian white wines. So, I don't know why it's not as popular. Maybe it is in the Italian wine circles, but just as far as your average everyday drinkers, you usually don't see a lot of these on the shelves. So, I don't know what the exact reason is, but it is a good question.
It's just funny. Yeah. It's been around for so long, and, it seems like it's a fairly highly regarded grape. I mean, this is one of our higher price point grapes, $26, which, isn't breaking the bank, but that's kind of the whole point of what we're doing here. But yeah, it's just funny. It's interesting that it's just, maybe it's just me being a dummy, but that is, something that's kind of new on my radar. So like Aaron said, though, I'm, excited to try it, but it just begs the question for me.
No, that's it's a great question because I've heard of it, but I've never tried it. Which out of the three of us, I think if one of us would have, probably would have been me. But I hope it's great because I love trying new things, and it'd be cool to add this one to the repertoire.
I gotta wonder if it's like a red wine bias with Italian wines, if what people are looking for out of Italy. Because I just did a quick search of Total Wine. This is the only Fiano that they carry.
Wow, that's crazy.
At Total Wine. So it's it must not be in demand.
Yeah.
And that, I guess when I think of it from the range of what are people looking for when they're looking for a white wine, if someone's going to get a white wine, they're probably going to stick with what they know. They're going to go and get a Chardonnay or Pinot Grigio or Sauvignon Blanc, and so are they going to go digging into the regional section and find a grape that they're unfamiliar with? Which is a shame, because I do want to say, so I did a little Googling about this company itself, this estate, this producer, and they have a really cool history. You could kind of tell from the label, going back to Colin's label episode that we should repost. You look at this label, and gentlemen, what do we know from the label episode? Just looking at this pop quiz,
made of paper.
You're both killing me. We can pretty generally assume this is not an old estate, right? This is not with the super kind of trendy, the name of the, they have a name of the wine, Empatia, it's called Empathy. That's very trendy and new. Yeah, so digging into this, very cool history, founded in 2005, Chiara Petito. So it's a woman-owned and founded estate. She is the president. Her daughter is the CEO. She named it after her grandmother. So it's always very cool to see in Italy and in the wine world, when there is, we talked about it with a Veuve Clicquot, it was a very there's a lot of pressure in the industry when it is a woman-owned estate, a woman-owned producer. So it's very cool to see it. This is a very woman-centric. Yeah, so that's exciting, and it's cool to see it's a newer estate. And I'm very curious as to why they are the only, to Joel's question, why are they the only Fiano wine that is being sold at Total Wines?
And how'd they do it? I want to know.
Yeah. Well, women run the world. Okay. Well, gosh darn, so much cool stuff happening today. I'm excited. We learned something. New grape, new producer. Let's check it out. Let's see how it is. Let's get into it.
Tastes like wine.
All right. Let's see. It's a whole new world. It's a whole new grape. There's no preconceived notions. So, Colin, why don't you start us off? What are you getting on the nose?
The one thing I get right off the bat is apricot, which is really nice.
Wow.
I also get a little bit of orange or orange blossom, really. I know I've brought that up a couple of times over the past episode, but it seems to be in white wine coming up quite a bit. You do definitely get a little bit of that minerality that I mentioned you couldn't expect. And I'll leave it up to you guys to toss out some other things there.
Totally. Joe, how about you?
Yeah, it's funny because I think last time you said orange blossom, I said honey, and I had the same thing in my head this time as I was smelling this. Yep. So that's funny. The way you interpret orange blossom is how I interpret honey, which I think is really funny.
That is really funny. I like that.
But I get that. I get a little #wine. A little bit of citrusiness in there, but almost something like a little tropical in there too. And I can't put my finger on it, but it's almost like a couple different profiles that I'm getting every time I go in there for another sniff. It's like something else is prevalent. How about you, Aaron?
Yeah, totally. I was gonna say honey. I got that kind of that honey aspect to it, but it's tough, right? Because when you're so used to drinking the same styles of white wines over and over again, you put your nose in there kind of expecting to experience that citrus aspect, and that's not as much there as I'm used to with white wine. So I have a deficit of, I can't identify a lot of the smells that I'm smelling. I think there's a couple of things in there that we have not necessarily named yet, but I don't know what those things are, if that makes sense.
I agree, Aaron, and I like Colin's call out of the apricot in there. That's not one that I would have picked if he would have gone to me first, but I love that. When I think about it, totally right.
I don't think I've ever been within 10 feet of an apricot. I can't tell you what that is. I don't know what the experience is. Is that a car? What are we talking about here?
I love a good apricot. But I like the tropical call because there definitely is something in there, but it's not like pineapple. Mm-hmm. It's almost like mango. Does that hit it? Or maybe not. I don't know. It's tough to identify. I don't know exactly what it is. Yeah, a little bit of mango, right? Just a tiny bit.
Yeah, it's there's the fruit smell, but not the ones we're used to with white wine.
No, it's definitely fruity, and I like the minerality. It really kind of cuts through that fruitiness because there's a lot of fruitiness. Like you can tell this is a warm climate wine just with the ripeness and the type of fruit that you're getting in here. You're not getting a lot of that steely, citrusy notes that you would get from, Sauvignon Blanc or even Pinot Gris sometimes. So you're definitely getting more ripe fruit, citrus, not citrus, but tropical. So it's a nice smell.
I'm noticing I'm the only one that's saying a little bit of citrus. Like I'm getting a little lemon though.
No,
strictly lemon.
For sure. But it's not like it, for me, it's closer to lemonade, but which is a bad example because, it's not like super, you're taking a bite of the lemon. It's not that type of lemon experience for me. It's more of like a subtle, almost sweeter lemon.
Yeah. I'm with you
awesome.
there.
Well, that's a whole lot of things to smell. Let's sip it and see what we're getting.
I don't know if you guys saw that. I just housed what I had in my glass because I want to pour a fresh
Some from,
little bit. Last time Colin did that, it was like, oh, now I'm getting different stuff. And I was like, oh, damn, I am too. So I'm doing that this time.
I like that.
Colin, I have to say, I'm just going to jump in because I have like 8 words in my head total.
Okay. Yeah.
You saying lemonade with the smell and now sipping it is like hitting. So it's like not, like you said, like it's not like exactly like lemonade-y, but there's some familiarity with it's like when you take the lemonade and you've added a bunch of sugar to it and cut down like the over sourness. Yeah. There's that kind of aspect to it, which is kind of cool.
Or even like when you would just dip, you guys ever just dip a lemon wedge in some sugar and just kind of like bite on it a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Kind of what you guys are talking about. Yep. I like that. You know what I am pleasantly surprised about here too is, what are you laughing at over there, Jared?
Just Joel, I pictured like little 10-year-old Joel in my head, just like walking around with little like lemon wedges, like dipping it in sugar, and like this is your snack.
Dip. That's a little thing for our YouTube friends right there. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by.
Fantastic.
What I was going to say is that minerality really
100%.
Even more so when sipping it very nicely in there. And I'm still thinking about the mango. There's something.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something that mango, I think, is the best that I can put my finger on right now. But I think there might be something else there too. I'm going to think about that while you go, Colin.
Well, I'm getting a ton of apricot on the finish. Like if you just if you take a sip and just let it sit there for a little bit, like you just get a lot of that. It's almost like that dried apricot taste, which I'm actually really enjoying. It's quite a nice twist there. And yeah, I agree with that tropical fruit, unnamed tropical fruit that's in there. It's definitely there, and I definitely don't know what it is.
What is it?
Yeah, but it's enjoyable. Like it's a nice complement to the minerality and the apricotiness. So I think, all in all, it's a very interesting sip. That's for sure. Definitely unique compared to what we've had so far.
I say I misspoke a couple times earlier in this episode. I must have like a filter on or something on my Total Wine. They do have more than this one Fiano at Total Wine. Now they have 7. So, it's obviously not. But as far as like a specific wine from a specific region, like that's actually a relatively diverse collection. They're all generally in between like $13 and $30. And then now I'm like searching for like what this missing fruit is. I'm like looking at their descriptors, trying to find like, so they say like mango, like maybe it's mango-esque, but it's and they also say like tropical. It's like they also don't know what the fruit is. Like it's a tropical
blanket
one.
Tropical. But I was going to ask, dude,
tropical.
Is that kind of like a normal characteristic of this grape, Colin? Do you know?
Yeah, the tropical notes. Yeah, they can be for sure. Yeah, especially in the warmer climate like Avellino, you definitely can find some tropical notes. Absolutely.
But I gotta say, like, just from a structure standpoint, like if we want to walk through, this is a really well balanced white wine. It's 13%, so we have that like kind of medium high alcohol, like not bad. I'm not tasting that at all, so this could be problematic, especially if it was like very chilled. Why don't you guys kind of add in like where are you putting this on the acidity and dryness charts?
Well, I'll say what I think, and then Colin, you can tell me if how off I am. But
Okay.
I was gonna say it's like
Scale 'em
a
in.
medium plus-ish on the acidity scale, because it's not terribly acidic, but it's there, and it's not quite me. I think it's somewhere medium plus. I'm gonna say that. And then I was gonna say like off dry. Like to me, there's a little bit, and again, it might just be that honey that's kind of coating my mouth and making it seem like there's a little bit of sweetness, not like a sugary sweetness, but kind of just like a nice soft sweetness. So I was gonna say off dry. What do you think about that, Colin?
Yeah, so I agree with you on the acid. I think it's medium plus. It's nice though. It's really nice. Like to get these kinds of flavors with this much acid is a nice treat, because even like you think Chardonnay, really ripe Chardonnay, is not going to have this much acid in it. I would disagree on the sugar levels. I think this is a pretty dry wine. But what I think you're feeling, and I'm glad you brought this up, because this is definitely an interesting point, and I'm glad I wanted to talk about this. But the mouthfeel is a little waxy, almost. There's something there that absolutely coats the palate, but I think in this situation, it's more a function of the grape than it is a function of sugar. So I think that's what you're feeling. It's a pretty unique mouthfeel. I enjoy. Is it dry AF? I don't think we call it dry AF, Aaron, because Joel thought it might. Joel might be right. So I don't think we can call it dry AF.
Just looking to toss out that merch, man. I get it. It's fine.
No, that's fine.
We'll find something dry AF, buddy.
It's a cool sticker.
It's the coolest sticker.
So
it's the
cool.
coolest sticker we have.
Yeah. So I think the mouthfeel is actually really cool on this, because it has that kind of waxy mouthfeel, but then it also has that nice acidity. So it's a pretty cool drinking experience, which I love in a wine. That's one thing I look for beyond just flavor notes, is like the experience as you drink it. And this has a nice back and forth between those two things.
Agreed.
All right, we talked about the smell, we talked about the taste, even got into the body a little bit. Let's see where we landed. Do we like it?
Yeah, but did they like it? It's time for the review.
All right, so before we jump into our reviews, for the thousands of new listeners that we're about to pick up now that we are active on YouTube, I want to go over with you how we review wine on this show, because it is different. The wine review number system we have learned is just generally kind of like all over the place. There's rubrics, it's all based on opinion, and what we want to do on this show is talk more about just the general, my brain wants to say vibe because that's where the kids are at, but it's it's not the vibe of the wine. It's just that, is the wine something that you want to have for the experience of that moment? And so we've kind of broken it into like, is this a kitchen table wine? Is this a wine that you want to have with people, around people? Kitchen table wines are the wines that you want to share with friends, that are excellent, that are just the wines that you enjoy and you are excited to have around people. Down from there, we have our closet wines. These are not necessarily bad wines. They're just not the ones we want to put out that we're going to like walk into a party and present to folks. There are plenty of wines out there that are fine drinkers that are also just not the most exciting wines on the planet. But, we have no problem drinking them as backups is what they are. And then a rainy day, it's crack the glass in case of emergency, or man, I ran out of wine, or it's getting late in the night and I don't want to open up this bottle because that's for a special occasion. So I'm going to reach back to this one because at 11 p.m. no one really cares the difference.
Or someone might like this. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And I think we have also said closet wines often have been like wines that we're like, we like this. It's not exciting. It's not something I'm going to show off, but it's fine. But the step down from that is our drain wines. And those are the ones that we just cannot We cannot justify, like, it's just like, it's for the price point, for the whatever, like, there's just better wine that you should spend your money on, and not to do this to yourself. So kitchen table is, like, in general, like, our top tier good wines. Going down from that, our closet wines, and then down from that, so drain wines, don't go there.
But Aaron, what if we come across a wine that absolutely knocks our socks off? We love it. This is like one of our favorite things that we've had, and we want to put this in a place of honor. Do we have a place on
Kitchen
our scale
table's
for
not good enough.
that? No,
Kitchen table's
no,
not.
this is like,
Well, I have good news, Joel. I have good news. In that
Oh,
situation, each of us have a wine fridge that only has
Oh.
3 spots in it. It's a stupid wine fridge. It's too small, but it's what we have. And we can each put 3 bottles only, that are our top 3 out of the ones that we have reviewed so far. If we go past 3, we have to take something out. So it's a real tense situation. But you can go on our website and you can see what our each individual, Joel has a wine fridge, I have a wine fridge, Colin has a wine fridge, our 3 favorites. And they're constantly changing.
fun.
Super fun. All right. Well, I am excited. I am excited because I picked a wine and I brought a wine onto the show, and I feel like people don't hate it. And that is exciting. That's a good bar for me. So who would either of you like to go first?
I'll go first.
Ooh.
I absolutely hate it. No, I'm just kidding. It's
Well done.
it's really nice, actually. I like it quite a bit. The flavors are really nice, unique. You know, I love a good wine that gets you thinking about what's in there. It's definitely not your average white wine, or definitely not what we've seen on this show before anyway. So I really appreciate that aspect of it. Like I said, the mouthfeel and just the way it drinks is really nice. I really appreciate that difference between the waxiness of the wine and the acidity. So I'm putting this on the kitchen table. I think it's pretty clear to me. There's nothing in here that I don't like. There aren't too many dings on here. It's just not quite wine fridge, but absolutely a cool wine to show people. Most people probably have never had Fiano Di Avellino, and I think this would be a great place to start. So absolutely give this one a shot.
Very cool. Joel?
Yeah, you know what? I'm totally with you, Colin. I mean, honestly, this is another one. I feel like it might have been a couple of weeks here, but in the last 6 things we've tried, so many cool new grapes, so many cool new regions. I know I've said it before, but I'm sitting over here just super excited about expanding my wine horizons. And this is just another win in my book, going on the kitchen table for all the same reasons. A very cool, very kind of in my profile with that medium plus acid, really, really enjoyable experience to drink. And it's something new, which is, something you can't find all the time, which is awesome. So, yep, really enjoying it, going on the kitchen table and feeling good about it. Aaron?
Awesome. Yeah, extremely similar on my part. Really enjoyed this wine. Very excited that you guys enjoyed this wine. Love that we found a new grape. Love that we found a new producer. Just really good. And when I think about white wines, again, we've over the course of the past 41 episodes have really talked about the diversity of red wine and how we have wines that are just the region, and the region is the wine itself, right? And we don't get to experience that as much with white wine. So I'm really excited that we found something like that. And this is a wine that I think your average white wine drinker would be really into. I would be excited to put this on my kitchen table and introduce it to the Chardonnay drinker in the room, because I think there's a lot of similarities there that they would really enjoy.
Buttery.
But I also think your average Sauvignon Blanc drinker would really like this wine too. So on the kitchen table, really cool conversation starter, really cool way to just have something a little bit different. And at $26, man, just what a great new and exciting bottle to pick up that isn't just walking in, to a party or to a barbecue or something with, just your average white wine.
Yep. And I feel like we're getting that $26. It's almost getting into the territory where sometimes we're a little bit more critical on wines because, after all, again, we're not breaking the bank on wines, but like that's kind of what we're here to do, right? Is find really good, affordable wines, and that's getting into the territory where sometimes we're like, wow, you really have to be bringing it for us to say that this is good enough to go out and buy. There's sometimes there's other stuff. I don't think there is in this one. This is worth every penny, in my opinion. And warrants that price point.
Yeah, and there's so much cheap white wine out there. Like, white wine, there's so many different options in like that $10 to $18 range. I think it's easy to fall into the mindset of like white wine is cheap. And I think this is a really good example of finding like a really decent white wine that's, again, y'all, like, we know that there's very expensive bottles of wine out there, and there's probably people that like hear the show and are like, none of these wines are expensive enough for me. But like, this is a good like mid-20 bottle of wine to walk into a place with something that is unique, that I guarantee 90% of the people in the room have probably never heard of it before, at least, and have something that most people will enjoy.
And I'll say this, had this been an earlier episode, this wine might be in my wine fridge. I just honestly, I couldn't think of a wine to kick out that this was better than, but this might be like first or second wine out. It's a really good white wine. Definitely.
I agree. If I didn't have the Dom de Cantverner like holding that spot, and I didn't have a white wine in my fridge, I might be like running through my head right now, being like, oh man, like this is good white wine.
It is. It's really good. It's really good. Super enjoyable.
There was a second here, guys, where I was almost toying with the idea of, do I want to sit on the porch and drink this? Because it's very easy drinking. It's got that, fresh, kind of light kind of vibe to it. But then, and I want to hear what you guys think about this. To me, it's just honestly a little bit too elegant. It's a little that mouthfeel experience is like a little bit too nice and a little bit too, almost I'll say, thought-provoking, right? If I can say that. But, it's just a little too nice an experience for me to call this a CPP. But the freshness of the wine and the drinkability had me thinking about it for a second.
Yeah, I would drink this on a nice like spring day. It would be great. It feels wrong to say I would pound this wine. It's the pounding aspect. There's just like, that's
a good way to put it.
I want to enjoy this wine.
That was my problem with it too. I'm not pounding this. I'm savoring each sip because it's that enjoyable. So, not a certified porch pounder, but am I drinking this on the porch? Absolutely, I am. 100%. Just not pounding.
Well put. You guys perfectly found that designation and the reason why it would not be a CPP. You put it in the perfect words. Thank you.
Well, y'all, I am so happy. I have warm, tingly feelings inside because I found a wine that everyone kind of liked, and that makes me happy.
Very much liked.
Yeah. Like almost in wine fridges, really good is something that we would. I mean, I think it goes without saying at this point. Absolutely not a waste of your wine. Great bottle to snag if you want to try something new and different. If you want to show up at you want to bring a bottle of white wine somewhere and you want to have a conversation, or you want something that folks haven't seen before. So, Empatia from Donnachiara, again, set you back about $26. You can find it at your Total Wine. Give it a shot. It's really good. All right, episode 41 in the bag. Colin, can you remind the listener where they can find us?
Yeah, absolutely. If you haven't found out by now, we are now on YouTube for full video episodes. We are also on Instagram. I'd check that out first. Aaron's over there having a good old time.
Love my Instagram people.
Yep. You can check us out on our website, stopwastingyourwine.com. I am technically on Facebook, but I'm also not on Facebook. So you can check us out.
I feel like that's most people. Most people are technically on Facebook, but not on Facebook.
That's true. That kind of checks out. And yeah, those are the main places I would come to interact with the gang.
Super duper. All right. Thank you all so much for spending your time either listening to us or watching us. Sounds creepy. Remember, stopwastingwine.com/Joel Live. You can watch him all day, every day. Otherwise,
I'll be here waiting.
We'll see you next Tuesday. New episodes
animated.
every Tuesday. Incredibly. But hey, thanks for joining us. Bye, all.
And remember, stop wasting your wine.
Bye.